Hi, I'm Nathan Cruz, and we're once again inside somebody else's toy room. So today we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars. Now I enjoy the Star Wars films, but I've never got into collecting the toys. However, my good friend Lucas Steele, or the artist formerly known as Lucas Steele, now known as Soggy Fins Sakura, is a huge Star Wars collector, as you can see, and has got so many of the Star Wars toys in his collection. So I thought I'd hand things over to yourself to kind of give us an explanation, and first of all tell us why you started collecting Star Wars and when it was that you started.
Well, I started collecting Star Wars things from before I was old enough to remember, really. It wasn't really like a thing where I was like, right, I'm going to start with a collection. It was basically just like Star Wars was just there from when I was younger. You know, my parents would buy me the toys or whatever. It was just kind of my thing. I think everyone had their thing in school or whatever. Like my brother had his thing and Star Wars was always mine. So it kind of just moved on to when I was older, and then just, you know, kept on collecting and buying more and more, and then we're in this state now.
It takes over your living room.
There you go.
So tell us a bit about the Star Wars history, because like the toy history's got like a weird...
Yeah, well there was a very rare thing that happened like early on, is when George Lucas pitched the idea to Fox. He suggested that he holds on to the merchandise rights, which is a very rare thing for a studio to let the creator do. But they had such little faith in the films, because obviously, like, you know, we're talking about a franchise where, you know, a guy and his big friend that looks like a big walking dog, and they're gonna prowl space, and you know, it was a very weird film to sell to Fox. He suggested that he holds on to the rights. They had such little faith that they let him hold on to it, and that was a big mistake, obviously, from Fox. George Lucas held on to the rights to the merchandise till I think 2012 when they sold to Disney. So
as recent as that? Huh?
Yeah, and now Disney obviously have the rights to everything. George Lucas was banking, like, you know, enough for Fox to cry into their cereal, I think.
Okay, so when was it you say you actually started collecting? Would you know the specific point where you was like, okay, this is what I'm now collecting?
I think maybe 2 years into my relationship with my fiance, I showed her Star Wars and she fell in love with it as well. I suggested that we, you know, move what I already had at my parents' house into this house and display some things or whatever. Progressed into buying more and more. Yeah, and then she fell in love with like certain aspects of merchandise as well. And she would add to it, and like she has her doll collection, so it's really cool to share that with her as well, you know.
Okay, so why don't you talk us through some of this collection here, because I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, as some of this, I'm guessing it's all from different eras of Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
Like they go back to like the 70s, right?
Yeah, these shelves, they don't really show much stuff from Kenner, which is the, you know, the line from the 70s and stuff. This is more like from the 2000s or the 90s.
Okay.
My favourite bit from this part of the collection is probably this. Now this is a toy that I sought after when I was little, but never really got a chance to get. I think my parents maybe struggled to find where to purchase it from or whatever. It was a rare toy based on a video game.
What's it called?
It's the Outrider. It's Dash Rendar's ship. It's from a game called Shadows of the Empire. Yeah, with it being so rare in this country, I don't think it ever hit like mainstream toy shelves in this country. But obviously now with everything being done on the internet, you know, it's a lot easier to access. So my fiance actually bought me that as a Christmas present 2 years ago. So
that's class.
Yeah, that was a Christmas to remember.
And this was like one of my favourites that you've got, because I recognise a lot of the stuff that you've got here. Like, and up here, I mean, is this more your retro stuff up here? Because I'll remember like these big Obi-Wans and Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, like when that film the episode 1 film came out.
Yeah, some things here are like they're like thrown in with newer stuff as well. The Falcon is that's one of the things like from when I was too young to remember. I got that for Christmas one year.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it's still in my collection now.
So that's like a 90s one, is that?
Yeah, unfortunately it's not the Kenner one, it's the Hasbro one from the 90s. I still love it as well. It's got like nostalgia for me personally as well, you know, it's the one that I played with as a kid.
Yeah.
Unfortunately the lights and sounds don't work anymore. Another thing that obviously stands out on here is the massive X-Wing.
Yeah, I was going to say that just dominates it.
Yeah, the disappointing thing about that actually is that the wings don't actually open into an X, which kind of defies the point of it being an X-Wing, but I guess when it's on display you don't really notice it. But yeah, you can see here as well where I've sort of like doubled some toys up. Like I got the 2 TIE fighters here,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I have like multiple of the same Stormtrooper to sort of like try and build an army.
Like the Stormtroopers.
Yeah. The X-Wing up here is the Kenner one from 1978, and I say 78 because it was actually a thing in 77 where toys was in such high demand and they didn't anticipate it being so popular. They actually sold empty boxes with pictures of the figures on, and then parents would buy the kids the empty box with a certificate that promised the figures when they were made in 78.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I never knew that was a thing at all.
So that X-Wing's from 78. A lot of people say, oh, the 77 Kenner X-Wing, and I am guilty of sometimes saying that just because it's the year it came out, but yeah, that's 78. There was no toys actually made for a 77 release.
There was none at all.
None at all.
right.
Empty boxes with pictures of like digital versions of what the figures would look like when they eventually were made.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that's like that old, like from the 70s or 80s?
I think this is a 90s version as well. These figures here are actually from the 70s as well. That's why they are displayed with the X-Wing. They're Kenner as well.
Right.
There's a Vader here. This is a whole like Anakin, Darth Vader shelf of like different adaptations of the character and different ships and vehicles that he's used throughout the saga. Yeah, we've got a Kenner Darth Vader here from the 70s, probably 78 as well. And then the Hasbro re-release in the 90s. And then this is more modern. This is from like the 2010s when the Rebels animated series came out.
I remember how I had that. That's from the 3rd film, right? Well, episode 3.
No, that's from Empire Strikes Back. That's his meditation.
Well, yeah,
training.
that's the scene from it, but I think, did they release that
Maybe, yeah.
around that time?
There's
It's like a 500.
this is definitely not from the 70s, 80s. So there is
Yeah.
a good chance, yeah, with Vader's return being in episode 3.
Yeah, because they've got the silver stripes in it, because he never had them on the originals, did he? Like the silver bits on his armour.
His chest and shoulder pads, they seem to change throughout the series.
Yeah.
Like in the first film, it was just like a thin strip down the middle of his chest, and then it moved over his shoulders. In episode 3 is when they really like moved over his shoulders. So I think it's just a plot to make new toys that look different, to be honest.
Yeah, right, most probably. Yeah. Lucas does something that really aggravates me, and you take your toys out of the box, which is absolutely damaging, and I'm sure a lot of people who follow this channel will be the same. But there is some that you've kept in the box, and that would be these, and why did you keep these ones in the box?
Well, I think a lot of the selling point into buying these like particular figures is having that box. Like I think these toys as well, they didn't arrive on UK toy shelves.
Oh really? Okay.
So I never actually got a chance to see them even on the toy shelves, do you know what I mean, in the box. So when they came, I just couldn't bring myself to take them out the box. Obviously, like, you love the design of boxes and stuff as well, and it's like it's all part of it for you. Like I don't really care about that thing, that sort of thing usually. Yeah, with these ones I just couldn't. There's one here that is opened, but the box was slightly damaged, so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to open this and have a play.
And which one's that?
That is Ventress. This is from the 2003 Clone Wars series, before they adapted it into like a canonized like 3D animation series. So yeah, these are quite rare.
I think I remember this cartoon. I think it was on Toon Army.
Yeah, I think yeah, one of the Cartoon Network channels. It was like 2 minutes long, and they aired like in between like the actual shows.
Okay.
So there would be a show on, then like an ad break, and then they would play like 2 minutes of Clone Wars, and then like after all that aired, they released it all on DVD in its entirety.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We have like a mixture here of Black Series figures and Disney Store exclusives. They're like the same scale, so I threw them in with each other. There's some of the detail on these is just like, insane, how they add like the real fabric material and stuff for the clothes. Like you can see Snoke there, he's like in a full gold robe.
I love that C-3PO. I think that's a cool little like model. This is really cool. I love this with. I mean, it's not an action figure.
It was a gift from my parents. I just added a few key words and people and things that are important to me and my fiance there, and cool little piece in it. You might recognise a couple of these up here.
I do. I forgot I got you the Vader one.
Yeah, you got me the Vader, and then we added a Stormtrooper that I actually got from Japan. That's SH Figure Arts.
Some of their stuff's awesome. Like, I really want it, but yeah.
The articulation on that is like insane. I love how shiny the armour is. It looks like someone shrunk down
a Stormtrooper.
Like,
yeah. I thought that came with that for a second, but that's cool that you've added that.
Yeah. This in the middle as well. You got me this past Christmas. The thing that I like most about that is that the Kylo Ren figure is actually a fully articulate like Black Series figure, whereas Rey is like a statue.
Right.
And all of these are statues, but Yeah, the Kylo Ren figure is fully posable like any other Black Series figure. The collection is capped off with Luke there on Hoth.
And these all light up and stuff as well.
When they've got the batteries in,
Yeah. I mean, this really, it's taken over your house now, because this is the kitchen.
Yeah, this needed its own section, I think. This is some of my favourite stuff in the entire collection. An original FX lightsaber here. It's Luke's lightsaber from 77. It's not actually from 77, it's from the 77 film.
Right, yeah.
What I like the most about them is it almost feels like you're holding a real lightsaber when you hold it. It's heavy, it's metal.
Yeah.
You know, it's how you imagine as a kid that it would feel like to hold a lightsaber. Dreams came true when my fiance bought this for me. The same year that she bought me the Outrider, so the toy that I always wanted as a kid.
Right.
She bought me Han Solo's blaster. Custom made, like for me. She spoke to a guy that actually makes these out of resin and metal, wood, whatever.
So this is just one of a kind.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really cool,
but it's much like the
It's got the
lightsaber.
weight on it and stuff. Yeah.
Feels just like you would imagine, right?
Yeah, that's like a natural. It looks like an actual movie prop.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I went to my parents' house after I opened this on Christmas to find that they had the replica belt and holster.
Oh, that was separate to this.
Yeah,
oh, right,
completely
okay.
separate, but they had this knowing that Sophie had bought me this. So now, perfect display, and then capped off with Handy's
These used to be in your
dice.
car, right?
I've still got some in my car as well.
Oh, you've got two sets. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Huge thank you to you, Lucas, for showing us around this collection, because, like I say, I don't collect Star Wars, but I do enjoy the films, and this
Episode 3 is the best Star Wars film.
it is the best film.
Empire Strikes Back, greatest film of all time.
No. Let us know in the comment section below what you think is the.
Oh yeah, you set yourself up for failure there.
It's episode 3. But yeah, this collection's amazing, and I was excited to share this with everybody. Obviously it isn't my own, but knowing somebody who's a good close friend of mine who has such an amazing collection, I had to get this on the channel for you all to see. So thank you very much for checking this out. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe and all that jazz. Hit the little bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you so much.
I am your father.